certain question from the young students, and also like the professor was already added certain answer to this. So it's somewhere it is like what I'm going to talk. Somewhere it's similar to the Hollywood movies, that you already have a Superman, and then in the next edition we will going to talk about how Superman was born. You already have a session about the entrepreneurship, but it starts with the idea. Fortunately, you crossed one level of that idea's engagement during the academic tenure period. So how many of you are engineers here? Engineers, anyone? You all are non-engineers? Okay. So during the graduation time period, it's a very common question that what we are going to opt as a career. So should I go for further career, joining any company? Should I start my own? Or should I go for the further academic studies? If I want to start my own, in that case, what to start and how to start? It's a basic question. Even though if I may ask that how many of you would like to have a good paying job after completion of your post-graduation? Please raise your hand. I believe rest doesn't like money or something like this. How many of you would like to start something? How many of you would like to start something but don't know what to start? You want to become your own boss. Okay, 50%. Nobody else? You want to serve others? You don't want to start your own? It's better to have a 9 to 6 job and then getting paid, or is it better to create employment? So just imagine, so there is huge number, you ask certain question about. So, in ecosystem there is huge number of people, if you want them that what exactly you like most. There are huge number of companies who offer only 4 days of the working culture, and 5th day is mandatory for the office part. They not at all bother about you coming to office, they only bother about what the job I'll be asking you to perform. Let's complete those tasks. So let's do this. Employee satisfaction matters a lot. These entrepreneurs are really happy while they are looking forward कि मेरे यहाँ के 10 employee को जो मैंने job दी है उनकी वजह से 10 लोगों की family चल रही है. So that is the level of satisfaction. Also, the definition and the engagement about the management and the business, which quoted by the professor about the Peter Drucker, that also quote something which is currently engaged by the startups also. The startup would believe to retain a huge number of existing customers rather than making a new customer. Making a new customer is putting 80% extra effort. But if you are able to retain your old customer, that is a continuous of your business. So that is how it starts. Can I have the slide, please? No. Okay, so we will slightly talk, about that. I have, how many of you don't have any idea but you want to start? Can we have anyone in your mind as a name who earns a lot in India and they don't own any company? They are getting paid by any other. Okay, in your opinion, who is like biggest billionaire of India? Names please. Among top 5, top 10. How many of them are creating, how many of them are doing jobs? How many of them are? People are also doing job, but if you can go further, like in terms of the creating employment or becoming a billionaire, doing something for the society, that is somewhere they want to become entrepreneur. And entrepreneur is slightly different in terms of the startup. An entrepreneur is anyone. वो ठेले वाला जो आपके कॉलेज के बाहर बैठा है या फिर वो छोले भटूरे बेच रहा है, he is also an entrepreneur. The person who runs a startup is also an entrepreneur. Ambani is also entrepreneur और हमारा ये पनवारी जो है वो भी एक entrepreneur ही है. The only difference is about the level of business. You got this slide, please?
Yes.
So before this, meanwhile the slide will be getting uploaded. So that is one component that if you want to serve the society, so yes, that's true. Ultimate goal of a business is to earn money. If you don't want to earn for this, you can register your company as a non-for-profit. That's okay. But nowadays, it is also an additional level of source of income. As a non-profit entity, people used to earn a lot while your company is under the non-profit entity. It is. While, the common question comes across that how to have a good business idea. I want to start something, but I don't know how to start, where to start, what exactly I have to do. The first and foremost thing which I recommend based on my experience is that look around. Just try to explore each and everything. So whatever the business going around, whatever the problem statements are going around, you commute from one place to other place, whatever the problem you are facing right now. 10 years back, there was no such food trolley in Greater Noida, these knowledge parks. Two students came out and they tried to start. This one, please. Okay, so it is about generating idea, understanding idea. So I hope you must be aware about this Amul as well as the ad of Fevicols. They used to be sector specific and theme based. Whatever the recently going across the market, and they try to encapture all the existing activities. They don't follow the exact the word whatever the going. So Kumbh Mela, it's about the Kumbh, 4 meals and melas. So similar kind of activity used to. When you are going to create a resolution of a new year, Fevicol is known for the bonding identity. If you will use a Fevicol, then the only way to stick your year resolution when you are going to start your year. In the same way, this is how the Fevicol also used to promote. It's only advertisement of the Fevicol. Monkeys are sitting there and saying that आ तो गए अब जाएंगे कैसे. The reason being that identity of Fevicol has been created in such a way that it's a huge bond. So it's about the idea that what exactly they are trying to portray. They don't have to say each and every statement, but Fevicol name says itself a lot. Now, coming about the learning process, academic process, curriculum structure we are coming across. In this image, I'll give you 10 to 15 seconds to identify how many triangles you are able to find out. Start speaking. It's open for all. Please, yeah. 5. More, please.
11.
How many are for 5? Raise your hand. Now, how many are for 6? How many are for 7? 8? Mostly 8, okay. 9? 11? 11, please. Any other number rather than what I said? 14? Okay. 0? Okay. 0? Okay. How many are for 14? How many are for 8? how many are for 0? Anybody input for y 8 and y 0? Perfectly answered. You are also right. Please clap for yourself. So that's why I quoted the name of this image. It's about image versus idea versus learning. When I asked that how many triangles you are able to see, this is our learning which used to say to us that anything looking like this triangle position will be considered as a triangle. However, as per the definition, none of the lines are connected to each other. But if I'm not able to give you more than 10-15 seconds, it is really hard for anyone to identify that it's a 0. The reason being that this is our learning pedagogy structure. We are coming from our childhood, mentioning about that, okay, whenever you see these kind of shape, you have to see that as a triangle only. We have to go beyond these kind of learning structure, talking about that, what exactly the idea is. So it's a very simple, trust me, it's a very simple. Anyone can have a super idea by doing surprisingly simple things. There are huge number of those things which was started as a simple activity and now they have turned as a huge developed business. So how idea starts basically about any business. So it starts with the generation of the idea. You either identify the gap in the existing market or you create the gap. Identification is quite easier as compared to the creating gap. For example, that in Knowledge Park there is no such restaurant or such food court is available who can provide us hygienic food at 8 AM in the morning or maybe 7:30 in the morning, because we have to come to our college around 8:30 or 8 o'clock. Right? So that can be identification of gap. Parallelly, there are certain level of business where you have to put a huge investment and then you mandate and you create those gaps to the ecosystem. Years back, we were using Airtel 5 GB a month data. Then Reliance Jio came and they started offering, why don't you use 1 GB per day? It's completely free. It was free for us, but not for them. It was costing something to them. We used those kind of offering for 3 months. Then again they said that please continue. We will offer you again for next 3 months. Again this gap was increased. They create a habitual environment for us using huge amount of data as a consumption. And certainly India is one of the highest data consumption in the world per day in terms of the mobile data we use. Right? So this was the second area where they provided a free product and that costed that particular company, and now it becomes habitual to us. If someone or some company is going to offer you again, like 5-6 years back, similar to that we can only offer you 1, 2, 3 or 5 GB data per month, it will be hard to survive these days. So these are the two areas where one is like where you can identify the gap and second is that you can create the gap. Now once you become habitual of this Reliance Jio, they started saying that why don't we use our Prime subscription first time, that will only cost you 99 rupees. And once you paid 99 rupees, then it will going to cost you 400 almost rupees for 2 months or 1 month of the pack. The first time when you were going to become a regular or paid customer of Jio. You will wonder to see that more than 80% of customer Jio were able to retain. And it was a paid customer, not a free customer. And that is where they play a play. So similarly, most of you are aware about the Practo. Shashank was a school guy, NIT pass out. He faced a personal problem, taking a medical treatment for his father, carrying the documentation one place to another place, and then he thought, let's do something which will be easier for this fraternity, which will be going to help out each and everyone. Currently, they have curated such kind of platform where not only you can able to find out a doctor even in Jammu and Kashmir or Leh and Ladakh or Lakshadweep, but also any part of the country. They can provide you a free consulting, the medical support, the home delivery, video consulting, each and everything, and as well as you can upload your medical documents so that if you are having a treatment in Guwahati and next week you will be traveling to Chennai, the same can be easily accessible. Most of the companies are also offering right now these kind of activity, but that time when they started this was the first mover. So he identified, Shashank identified those kind of problem, what exactly it is. Now, so as I said earlier that how idea can be started. The first and foremost thing is about listening. You all are going to study across MPD subject or maybe personality development that listening is an art. So whatever someone is saying, a professor, even though rickshaw wala, thene wala, anybody, until unless you can't hear them properly, you will not able to understand or able to create any problem. If you want to start a startup, you have a certain business idea. If you can't hear a poor feedback, if you can't hear a proper problem statement, you will not able to think about that what could be possible solution. I'll quote one story here. So this is one actual image. So there was a lady, old lady, almost 80 years old. This image was captured when I was traveling somewhere in Jharkhand. So she was selling cucumber, or she started selling cucumber in a tin, and she started selling from a place that next stoppage will be after 3 hours. It was again month of June, almost similar to the Delhi weather, and she started selling cucumber saying that 20 रुपए का एक खीरा, that is almost double in even though regular cost. आज के रेट में तो 30 रुपए का किलो आता है, but ठीक है, let's consider about this fact कि 10 रुपए का एक चलता है, but 20 रुपए का एक खीरा. She took a round in whole compartment, second round in whole compartment. There were multiple people who said कि आंटी कोई नहीं लेगा, 20 रुपए का कोई खीरा थोड़े ना, इतना महंगा कोई थोड़े, 10 रुपए का आप दोगे तो चलेगा. तो आंटी ने कहा कि नहीं बेटा, 20 रुपए का ही दाम है, बिल्कुल नहीं लेंगे, कोई नहीं लेगा. After half an hour, another young guy, almost like 15-16 years old, came around and he started selling cucumber. 15 रुपए का एक खीरा. किसी एक ने परचेज किया, दूसरे ने परचेज किया, and within 20 minutes even उसको दूसरा कंपार्टमेंट तक क्रॉस नहीं करना पड़ा, सेम कंपार्टमेंट में उसकी टोकरी के सारे खीरे 15 रुपए में बिक गए. खरीदने वाला जो पहला इंसान था उसने ये कहा कि बेटा 15 रुपए तो बहुत महंगा है. तो उसने कुछ नहीं कहा कि आपको लेना है लीजिए, आपको नहीं लेना है आप मत लीजिए. दैट्स ओके, कंप्लीटली फाइन. थोड़ी देर बाद उसकी टोकरी के सारे खीरे खाली हो गए. वो जो लड़का था वो ट्रेन के गेट के पास बैठा था और वहीं पर वो बूढ़ी औरत भी बैठी थी. 2 टोकरी रखे थे वहां. जिन अंकल ने उस दादी को ये कहा था कि 20 रुपए का एक खीरा कोई नहीं खरीदेगा, अंकल ने देख करके दादी से कहा कि आपको देखो बेचना नहीं आता, इस लड़के से सीखो. 15 रुपए का एक खीरा बेचा और इसने कितने अच्छे से बेहतरीन तरीके से जो है पूरा का पूरा खीरा बेच दिया. आंटी जो है वो सिंपली मुस्कुरा करके कहती है कि सर ये लड़का मेरा पोता है. दिस इज द वे. और वो उसका एक दिन का नहीं था, वो उसका हर रोज का था. वो पहले मार्केट में नीड क्रिएट करती है और लोगों को ये फील कराती है कि देखो यहाँ पर इस रास्ते पे इफ यू वांट टू परचेज कुकुम्बर इट विल कॉस्ट यू 20 रुपीस. एंड नेक्स्ट मोमेंट नोबडी हैज टू से कि आपको इससे सस्ता भी मिल सकता है, इससे सस्ता. इट डजंट मीन टू बी 10 रुपीस और 5 रुपीस, बट अभी जो मिल रहा है इससे सस्ता. If you can follow marketing trends carefully, big billion days are one of those examples. इससे सस्ता. This is the only concept. वो 15 रुपए खीरा नहीं बिकता until unless लोगों को ये महसूस कराया जाता कि अभी अगर आप खीरा परचेज करना चाहते हो, it will cost you 20 rupees. And the next moment she started selling at 15 rupees. None of them were educated. It doesn't mean कि एक अच्छा बिजनेस करने के लिए एजुकेशन होना जरूरी नहीं है. हाँ, एजुकेशन help you to curate those business in a better way. There is a many more examples, but through education, you can digitalize those things, you can use the technology and various components, right? But this is one of those examples that how one can do a good business. So, लोगों में एक need पैदा की जाती है, it's like playing with their minds, and this is why I am doing this. So, this is the basic concept. First about that, you will listen carefully. Your surrounding, whatever people are there, whomsoever will be there, I'm carrying this mic, right? Someone identified that this is very difficult to carry for a speaker, so they identified collar mic. After a certain time period, they said कि नहीं वो जब stage से show होता है ना, तो we need someone to hear also. So why don't we put a simple device which can be hearable as well as we can put as a mic also. They introduced this one also. Right? So this is the way invention goes across. So you first listen, whatever going across, then you explore. Is there any problem? What is the problem? If there is not, then you can create a problem. You can, set an example like selling cucumber also. So after these three explore, I'll put few examples here. Everyone is here about all these four people, right? So Gautam Buddha ji, Guru Nanak Dev ji, Abdul Kalam Sahab and Vivekananda. There is certain which is common across those people rather than famous लोग हैं. Characteristic is something which is common. Religion is completely different. But in your opinion, what do you think? What could be the common characteristics across these people looking into these three words: problem, listen, and explore? Sorry? No. What is common across these four people? What do you think? Yes, please. Wisdom. Okay.
They identify the problem, the basic problem in the society.
Problem. Belief. I'll come to that point also. Belief. I have that also. What else? Anything else? If you can go by biography of any of these people, this is the most common element you can find as explore. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was known as the world's, most traveled person during that time period. Vivekananda, Gautam Buddha, even though Hamare Kalam Sahab, even though he was a president that time period also, he used to respond a lot of letters and email. He loves to roaming across the country. He was such a nice president, जितना उन्होंने आज तक बच्चों से उनकी मुलाकातें हुई उतना किसी से नहीं हुआ. So he covered across all India, each and every part. गौतम बुद्ध ने तो अपने लाइफ की आइडेंटिटी ही स्टार्ट की थी ट्रैवल से. So they didn't start that okay, I'm going to explore शिमला, वहाँ क्या क्या एंजॉय करने वाली चीजें हैं, क्या क्या घूम सकते हैं, क्या क्या देख सकते हैं. So their exploration was something which is what exactly going across the society, and then they tried to figure out the problems kahan hai, what kind of solution society needs, what things nation needs to be done, and this is the common across all these four people, and this is the base of creation of the idea. Can we have that video, please? Can we have that video, please? I have a very small video that will quote you about that whenever we have certain idea and we try to start something, then we have similar kind of thinking. I think someone has also asked in the previous session that about the business idea and the reason about the failure of the, and that's absolutely correct. So India, it's more than 80% startup fail in first 2 years. Even though the duration came down and now it's 18 months only. So whenever you think about that, whatever business idea I have right now, that is the unique one. So it is completely unique. It might be unique in terms of your capacity and your knowledge. But when you will be reaching out to the investor or the community or the ecosystem people, then you will get to know it's already into the market. I'll quote certain example. In India, there are certain business who has a long monopoly. Till date, in last few months or in last few years, we have a similar kind of business also, but not yet completely as similar to them. OLX. We don't have any alternative as of now. Book My Show. They don't have any alternative. Paytm Insider was started few years back, but still Book My Show is a huge one. So these are the something which is completely unique. And even though cyber fraud has come against, in these kind of business also. OLX in last 2 years were able to remove somewhere around 27% of the fake customer. Whether they will be a buyer or they will be a seller. So whatever business idea you will be going to have, you must need to explore, you must need to understand that how it will be going to work. Never keep your mind in such a way that whatever idea I have, this is completely unique. Like this. So it is never true. You have to work a lot. India, we have 1,30,000 plus startup as of now, as on date, which is registered startup. In India, we have 112 unicorns right now, and these 130,000 plus startups you have were able to create more than 12 lakh of employment. So that's a huge number. I'll also quote you one example here that at MeitY we have a scheme called Genesis. So as the name suggests itself, Gen Next Initiative for Startup. Under this, we have a provision to provide seed funding into the ideation stage. So it doesn't need to have an incorporated entity. If you have a business idea, you can reach out to the incubation center who will be partner for this program, startup program. And through these incubation center, you can apply. And there is no mandate that your institution have to be partner for the Genesis scheme. You can apply to any of the incubation center who are partner for the Genesis under the MeitY. So under this ideation stage, we have a provision to provide 10 lakh rupees as a grant. We don't take that money back. Interesting. So you can use that amount, but not in such a way that all 10 lakh rupees will go at once, and then it doesn't matter, okay, I'll go to one place to another just to travel, saying that I'm exploring my business opportunity. I've been to Singapore, then I've been to USA. 10 lakh rupees has gone. So this is not an ideal way. Also, during the previous session, it was said, yes, don't hunt for the initial stage, especially. Whenever you are running a business, don't hunt for the business and money. It will come automatically until you have a product which is perfect and best good fit into the market. Revenue will be going to generate it like quick. Anything can be done. If you are able to satisfy your customer, it can be boom. And initial years of launch of the Xiaomi India, for next 5 to 6 years, you will rarely find any advertisement for MI phones. But they, in just 2 years of the span, they become top 3 smartphone seller in country. The only reason being because of the customer. And their customer become marketer. Why don't you buy MI phone? Let's buy it. Parallelly, on the other hand, it is being said that if in India you travel for, if you are traveling in next 3 kilometers, if you are not able to see Vivo or Oppo hoardings, might be you are in another country. This is the way they are promoting on the other hand. So your product should be in such a way that your customers should become your marketer. And that is where you are going to create the identity. So this is the concept says that the explore person is about the research, identifying, the engagement, what is the going across the society. Connection, like ma'am said, I think. So it's all about understanding, creating the connection. The more you create the connection, the more you gather idea, the more you get feedback, what exactly needs to be done. Even though if you are going to join somewhere as an employee, in that case also. So the one term says entrepreneurship, another term says intrapreneurship. So entrepreneurs is something which is for your organization, not for the independent entity. Like for example, you are working for Maruti and you want to launch a car which is again economical, EV based or something like this. And you started doing the research for Maruti because you are Maruti employee. So that will lead to, so this concept says that like the connection will going to help across the vertical, whether it's about marketing of your startup idea, marketing of your product, generating revenue, understanding about the problems of the ecosystem, anything can be. And ultimately it is going to lead to the karma. So no matter how many founder or co-founder, it's always about, most of the cases, if you start blaming each other, founder and co-founder, it will be considered as inability to lead those problems. And that is somewhere where you started declining. So problems come to you, and this is the time of your life where how you are dealing with those problems is going to decide your future. And ultimately, if you want to start something, pros and cons, loss and profit, up and downs will be definitely going to come. But this activity as a karma will going to lead you all those things. So now a quick talk about the ecosystem. If you want to become an entrepreneur, if you want to start, in India we are now world's third largest startup ecosystem. Government has a lot of schemes supporting each and every states of the startups as an activity in terms of the grant, huge amount it is. From the connection and network, in India we have a huge community of the venture capital as well as the venture investor. I'll simply quote about our ministry example. So MeitY have currently, only for the startup base, we have 1,200 crore plus schemes, and that is for each and every stage. As I told you about the ideation also, if you have a MVP stage, in that case also, if you have a product ready, if you already launched your product into the market, in that case also. So it starts with the 10 lakh rupees and goes up to 2 CR, and that is in terms of the grant only. So the third one is the events. Events are being considered as a one-stop shop for each and everything. Whenever you will get a chance to attend any event which is related to the startup, I would highly recommend you to go there. However, it is also now become these days a business. Many of the entities are doing event just to generate revenue and start a business. But it will always help you to understand at one place what are the different entities of the ecosystem. And the last one, but not the least, it's about the incubation center at your premises, like I think you already mentioned about. Whenever you have any business idea, any incubation center have a mentors, list of the mentors and expertise from each and every sector, supporting from the ideation to marketing, product development, each and everything. So this is the area looking into the last, but this is the first step where you can start by yourself. Now talking about this component, since you all are the management students, so whenever we talk something for the management, in that case, it always have a certain models. So I recommend here 3B for a business. How it start? It's about the belief. You must have to have a belief towards your idea that I'm going to do this. There might be certain changes, improvement required during my startup journey, but this is my belief that I'm going to do this. When you are working on your belief, then if you are going to face up and downs, there is a huge chance that your behavior is going to change. But as in your business, its ultimate goal is to generate revenue. How you talk to your prospect, how you talk to your stakeholder, and that is being decided by your behavior. If both goes well, that is your business. So this is how I used to say that about the 3B model. जैसा भरोसा, जैसा व्यवहार, वैसा व्यवसाय. And the last about the comma, definitely, anyone can read out please.
भगवान के भरोसे मत बैठो, हमारे भरोसे बैठ जाना.
The reason being I said this, that many of us thinks about कि होना हुआ तो हो जाएगा, मेरे पास ये बिजनेस आइडिया है, अगर ये आइडिया चलना होगा तो चल जाएगा, नहीं चलेगा. You have to execute this. Let people should aware about this. You have to speak to someone, you have to reach out to someone that what to do, how to do. It's not necessary that you are expert in each and every field. You have to have the mentor. If you don't need this, in that case you shouldn't be here. You needed to have a mentor, academic structure or something which could be in a organized way. That's why you are here. So that's my suggestion. Thank you so much. I'll open for the question, Amy, please. Yes, please.
And we wanted to sell it, but we don't know how, who could be our customer. For an example, if a person is gonna just sold a pepper spray, so if they will directly go to the girls only, so there are less chances that they will convert. But maybe if they will go to their family members and to their male friends, maybe they will brought that and they will sell them. So how could we know who are our customer? How could we actually sell more of our products?
Okay, thank you.
If I'm like manufacturing or designing a new smartphone which is about reasonable cost about like 5 to 6,000, which will be reasonable for every very low poor people also. So I know I have to cater those population. If I have to decide my niche, like I want to open big product, like I have to manufacture expensive products like Gucci, Prada and all. We know that we have to cater those population who can earn a lot of money and who can invest in our product. So that is in the beginning only we know that.
Okay, very good.
So my question was about how to expand our market size.
Okay. So you already have something which will be going to in a reverse way. That before launching your product, you have to have a research that this will be a right good fit market for me. These will be the prospect, and there must need to be perform a certain research for this particular activity. I'm traveling to Leh and Ladakh and I can see that I can find out कि वहाँ पर एक भी AC और पंखे की दुकान नहीं है. What a good business idea. I'm traveling to Chennai और मैंने कहा वहाँ पर एक भी ब्लैंकेट की दुकान है, दिसंबर का महीना है, क्यों नहीं स्टार्ट करते हैं? But you can't, because you have to see the demographic, geographic, as well as the customer purchasing power also, right? Rightly said. So, two things. One is about that before launching your product, as I started earlier also, it shouldn't be that मेरा जो product है वो 5,000 का है और Google Pixel जो 25,000 का है तो मेरा ज़्यादा अच्छा चलेगा. It never work like this. You should first perform the research part. You should get a proper feedback from the prospect that okay, let's do this. What needs to be done, and that is why the concept of the minimum viable product comes across. एक सैंपल की बात करते हैं, सारी डिमांड फुलफिल नहीं होगा बट कुछ हद तक. So let's have a feedback from the prospect कि क्या क्या इसमें हो सकता है. I'll quote you another example also. In upcoming months, you'll get to know about the very good example of the marketing strategy. Xiaomi इंडिया में आज ही फोन लॉन्च करती है तो Xiaomi फैन कम्युनिटी में फोन शेयर करती है बिफोर लॉन्च. वो आपको फ्री में फोन्स देती है, 3 महीने तक कहती है कि आप इसको जितना यूज कर सकते हो. आप दिन भर 10 घंटे मोबाइल खेलो उस पे, आप 24 घंटे उस पे वीडियो देखो, आप जितना यूज कर सकते हो यूज करो. मैंने आपको ये फोन फ्री में दिया है जो कि 50,000 का फोन है. That's okay. After 6 months, before launch, for next 3 months, it start with a year back. 6 महीने बाद वो फोन वापस उनसे मंगाती है और उसके बाद 3 महीने तक उस हैंडसेट्स पे रिसर्च चलता है. And based on that research, the final product comes out, जो आपको नॉर्मल एडवर्टाइजमेंट में दिखता है कि इस तरह के ये हमारा रैम है, ये हमारी प्रोसेसर, सारी चीजें हैं. बिकॉज मार्केट में उन्होंने पहले सैम्पलिंग करी एंड इफ देयर आर सर्टेन इंप्रूवमेंट रिक्वायर्ड दे यूज्ड टू डू. शॉपिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स में अक्सर आप लोग देखते होंगे, बिग बाजार तो बंद हो चुका है, यू अगेन रीड अबाउट द केस स्टडी व्हाई बिग बाजार शट डाउन, बट अक्सर पहले बिग बाजार में वो चटनी, केचप और कुछ स्नैक्स लेकर के खड़े होते थे. फ्री सैंपल है, प्लीज टेस्ट इट. So that is one cost the company is paying just to get the feedback. सर आपको कैसा लगा? आप प्लीज बताइए. The moment they'll give the positive feedback, that is good. But even though positive feedback is something which is also leads to the decline of the company, unless you are not going to adopt certain change, like Nokia, Kodak. So their existence. Why Maggie has a huge number of varieties? Earlier they were only selling simple Maggie, that's it. Nothing. Then you change variety of your product. So first thing will be that a proper research with a feedback. What exactly? Once after that, if you are going to launch your product, you will put certain product as a sampling. Let's start with my college itself. If it's direct B2C in that case, even though if it's in a professional way, let's do certain sampling work as a pro bono. There is a huge list of companies who start as a pro bono. They don't charge anything, just to get the acknowledgement and a feedback for the areas of improvement. Now, once you have a good number of customers, treat your customer as a god just to promote them. डिटॉल हैंड वॉश का जो कैंपेन आप देखते हो अक्सर, उसमें वो रियल लाइफ रियल केसेस लेकर के आते हैं. अगेन यू all guys are going to have a good study about the Coca-Cola marketing campaigns. So they used to they have one advertisement talking about the partition of the different countries and connecting those people, and they used to promote Coca-Cola. Even in Delhi also, in Saket, they launched one friendship machine, vending machine, but to pick the Coca-Cola can, one guy had to bring you. So it shows a friendship bond. तो वहाँ पर क्या होता है कि कंपनी जो होती है वो प्रोडक्ट की एक ट्रस्ट बिल्ड करती है, एंड दिस इज हाउ यू क्रिएट योर वर्थ. ऑब्वियसली है, इतने बड़े कॉन्ग्लोमेरेट में इतनी बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज के बीच में आप कहाँ से कैसे सर्वाइव करोगे? टू सर्वाइव योरसेल्फ यू हैव टू क्रिएट योर आइडेंटिटी, एंड योर आइडेंटिटी विल बी ओनली एक्नॉलेज्ड बाय योर कस्टमर, unless and until they will going to speak about कि हाँ इसका प्रोडक्ट मेरे लिए बहुत अच्छा है, right? Anybody else?